Welcome back. I believe we're now on day 4 of the Overcoming Sexual Shame course. And today we're going to start transitioning into the action phase. We're going to be preparing you for the proper interaction part of Overcoming Sexual Shame, where you'll interact with other people as a way to help deal with your shame. So today is about depressurizing sexuality. We're going to take the pressure off, particularly the pressure to perform in whatever way you feel pressured. Everybody's got their different version of being pressured to perform, and today we're going to take that pressure off you, whatever it means for you. We're also going to deal specifically with the concept of erectile dysfunction, one of the most common and debilitating symptoms of sexual shame for men. For women, I believe this can also manifest in different ways physically, in terms of getting too dry or being tense or just genuinely not enjoying yourself sexually. It doesn't really matter what the symptoms are, because the techniques we're going to be talking about today apply to anybody. It's just about pressure release. I want you to get into your mind right now what it would mean if you were to be okay with not being able to perform sexually, whatever that means for you. If that means being too nervous to get it up, or in the case of a woman, too nervous to be lubricated. If it means finishing too quickly, or not being experienced and skilled in the act of loving. If it means less of a sex in terms of intercourse and more sexuality, if it means not always being masculine or being too feminine, or whatever you think of as not performing well sexually, I want you to get into your head, what if it was okay to be like that? What if it was okay to be like that even though you don't want to be like that? But you can still accept that it happens. That is what removing pressure is all about, is making it okay. And it was the absolute secret for me overcoming my sexual shame, was basically making it okay to be affected by uncontrollable symptoms of shame. I didn't want to be affected that way, but I couldn't control it, and therefore it's okay. One of the things we'll be talking about at the end of this video is about what you might call a kind of abstinence. Whereas if you prepare to be sexless forever, if you imagine that you'll never be able to perform, whether it's physical or whether it's being masculine or feminine, whatever it is, if you were to imagine that you're never going to be good at it, you're never going to get it right, and to be prepared to live like that, to be prepared to make that work for you. This is what we mean by reducing pressure. To put it very simply, for me to overcome my erectile dysfunction, which I did, was I made it okay to always have it. Not okay as in I enjoyed it, but okay that if it happened I wasn't going to fight it and I wasn't going to hide it. I wasn't going to tell myself it was wrong or a failure. Just like I wouldn't tell myself I was a failure if I had a bad knee injury and limped for the rest of my life. Not being able to walk properly because of an injury I can't control, it's not something I'm going to punish myself for or hide from the world. And it's the same with whatever symptoms you have around sexual shame, whether it affects you physically in bed, affects the way you speak, makes you shy, whatever it is that it does to you. We're going to make it okay for you to be like that, possibly even forever. Because I can tell you right now, struggling against it makes it worse. You will not fix this by struggling against it. You won't fix it by trying to fix it. If any relief is going to come in this area, it has to first be accepted. If you could control it, you would. The fact that you're not controlling it means you can't. So let go of controlling it. Okay? Where does these anxiety symptoms come from? They come from the pressure. The pressure causes the problems that the pressure causes, doesn't it? If you didn't have any pressure, you wouldn't have any of these symptoms. If you weren't pressured to perform by yourself, you wouldn't have any of those blocks to performance. You need to understand that. The pressure to succeed in some way, to win the conquest, to win approval and admiration. All of these things are what cause those unexpected and unwanted physical reactions, particularly ED. When you're nervous, everything clenches up down there. And that prevents blood flow, doesn't it? So, putting pressure on yourself cannot help. We're going to talk a bit more about this in the next video, but essentially the way to address this is to go to it directly. If you're in the situation where it's happening, it has to be expressed directly. So for example, if I'm with a girl and I can't get it up, I don't do what I used to do. I don't pretend it's not happening, or pretend to be too drunk or too tired, or try to use oral sex to hide what's happening with me. That's what I used to do. Now, I'll go to it directly. I'll say to her, look, it's not happening. I'm too nervous or under pressure or something, and I get affected in this certain way. It's not happening tonight. Or at least it's not happening right now. Just address it directly. No matter what it is, whatever you not performing is, being out in the open with it. Maybe you not performing with masculine sexuality means you don't stand up for yourself. Maybe that's what you not performing means. In which case, when it happens, you say it. Say, look, I know it sounds like I agree with you right now, but the problem is I just don't have the courage to stand up for what I really believe in. I'm too scared of telling you what I really think. To just call it out for what it really is. To give respect to it. To surrender to it. To go, you win, performance anxiety, you win. I'm not going to fight you, I'm not going to deny you, I'm not going to lie to myself. It's happening, and I can't fix it. Now I'm going to give you, in terms of sexual, physical experience, instead of trying to get it up, or trying to get wet, or whatever it is you're trying to do, shift to something you can control. And one of my favorites here, I'll give you something very practical, is massage. Especially at your own place, you should always have massage oil beside the bed. And this is your go-to, like no matter how much you can't perform in the genital region, you can always give someone a good oil massage. You almost can't get an oil massage wrong. And if you think you are getting it wrong, go look on some YouTube videos or something. But have this thing where you know that if you can't perform sexually, you've got a backup. You've got this thing where the night won't be a loss, it won't be a total disaster. You won't, it's not like it's your only weapon. You have other tools at your disposal. This will allow you to realize that, like, as great as it would be to be able to perform sexually, I have other options. Maybe, like I said, if performing sexually means standing up for yourself, and you can't do that, you can at the very least go and speak to someone you feel safe about it, and go let them know that it happened. You might not be able to tell the person directly who offended you, but you may be able to tell someone else so that you can at least get it out. It's your next best thing. Or you may be able to at least not pretend to agree. If you can't actively disagree, at least stay silent. Have a backup option that requires no pressure and that isn't difficult for you to do. It became very easy for me to surrender to erectile dysfunction when I could say to a girl, look, I'm too nervous tonight. I guess it's all about you tonight. Let me get the massage oil. I'll put some candles on. It's going to be your night tonight because I got nothing going on down there. I could actually make it that it was a benefit to them. Something that they could even look forward to. It means, hey, they don't have to do any work tonight. There's nothing to work with. Ironically, this solved the problem for me, but don't do it to solve the problem. soon as you're trying to fix it, it doesn't work. You need to surrender to it, lose the battle. And then maybe if you stop fighting, you'll realize it was the fighting that caused the problem in the first place. The pressure to perform, to get it up, to last long, to have an orgasm, to give them an orgasm, whatever it is you pressure yourself to do, release yourself from that pressure and have a backup that you can control. I might not be able to make her have an orgasm, but I can give her a massage. I can control that. I can make sure that there's candles and nice music and we take our time. I can't guarantee her orgasm, but I can guarantee that I will do my best to make it a romantic setting and an enjoyable time, if nothing else. The last thing to remove this pressure before we go into tomorrow's real actionable actions, we need to remove the chase for sex, for conquest, for winning, whatever that is for you. And what this means is simply removing any actions, any intentions that are trying to get the win. So if you performing means just getting laid, then you're going to swear to not try to get laid. If you performing means getting it up, then you're going to swear to not try to get it up, nor to avoid any situation where you'll feel pressure to give it up, to get it up. Okay? If you performing means trying to stand up for yourself, then you're going to swear off trying to make people respect you. Whatever it is that you're trying to get, that end outcome that you put so much pressure on yourself for, orgasms, performance, love, approval, respect, whatever it is that you have your shame about, that you wish would cure your shame, you're now going to make a commitment to stop chasing that thing, to surrender. And we'll be talking tomorrow about how to use honesty instead. So here's your action for today. You're going to make a commitment to abstaining from chasing whatever performance is for you. You're allowed to be honest about it, and you're not allowed to avoid situations where it can happen, but you will not chase it for a set period of time. I recommend 12 months. When I finally said I'm not going to chase sex for at least a year, which is my way of letting go of performing. Now I'll be honest with girls about being attracted to them, and if they invite me back to their house, I'll go with them, but at no point am I going to do anything to try and make sex happen. Okay? The closest I'll come is letting them know that I want to do it. But I won't try to convince them, I won't try to manipulate into it happening, and in my particular case, I won't avoid the opportunities either. You know, I'll tell a girl I want to come back to your place. That's not to try and make sex happen, it's just trying to be honest. And if she says yes, I'm not going to be like, oh, actually I've got an early day tomorrow, and try to avoid it because I'm scared of ED happening. I want you to be able to go into your situations where your pressure to perform will come up, but to release the pressure in those moments, to say, I don't have to perform here. I can suck if I want to. Maybe that's even a literal reference. So make your commitment right here, right now. What are you going to let go of? What pressure are you going to take off? What do you not have to achieve for the next 12 months? And tomorrow we'll look at how to be honest instead. Cheers.